Hey y'all. So I hope we're going to be beating the rain. There's supposed to be a good possibility of rain today, and we do need it. But so the lower end of this flower field has to be plowed, because before it can be reshaped, it'll have to be flowered. This upper end we are not going to have to plow. And these two beds, I've been on the orange tractor today. I just finished mowing everything down and Hugh's plowing. But these two beds still have the plastic in them, and he is more knowledgeable on how to adjust the height of the mower. And I think he's wanting to mow the flowers down before we try to pull the plastic out. So I'm going to let him do those two. But now this is exciting to me. Any of y'all that are gardeners who totally understand getting your fields or getting your gardens ready for next year, there's just something extraordinarily satisfying about it. This makes me happy. But so after he finishes plowing, if there's still time, he's going to go ahead and run the rotavator over these beds that I have mowed, and he'll also run the rotavator down there to shape those beds. And then I'll be bringing some compost over to spread on the top of the beds, put a little bit of organic fertilizer, and spread in our winter wheat. That's what we're going to grow as a cover crop, and that's probably for our application not the best, or for our purposes not the best application, but that's what we have on hand for this year, so that's what we're going to go ahead and use. I think the biggest problem with the winter wheat is that it's a little harder to kill in the spring, and we will be planting in this field pretty early, this upper end especially. We will be planting our cool weather, cool season hardy annuals, let me see, about the end of March, because they go in the ground 6 weeks or so before your last frost of the season. So yeah, it's still going to be chilly, and that winter wheat's going to say, hey, I'm still doing my thing. So I will be covering the beds with some plastic that we will use year after year, but the black plastic should heat it up enough during the day to finish extinguishing it, so that we'll be ready to plant in it by the end of March. Did I say May earlier? Sometimes I say the wrong words, guys, and when I'm watching the video after I've posted it online, I'm thinking, that's not what I meant to say. I hope they know what I'm talking about. So if it ever doesn't make sense, if what I'm saying doesn't make sense, it's probably because I just said the wrong word. And I often get the months of the year. I'd say September instead of October, October instead of November, but I can't keep up with time anymore. I don't know if those of you who are retired, and yeah, we're kind of quasi-retired, but if those of you who are retired have the same problem, but days of the week, months of the year, none of that really makes much sense anymore, and so I don't keep up with it unless we have a doctor's appointment. I do try to remember to look at the calendar at the beginning of every week to see if we have some kind of an appointment. Other than that, yeah, days come and go, and it's all a big blur. Oh gracious. But look at that dirt. That's beautiful. I have found out some interesting things about the clay. I have kind of always lamented that we are not quite as loamy, that we have the clay soil here. But as I've read more and more about soil health, I'm actually glad, because clay soil holds nutrients better than other types of soil. So that's, at least it has that going for it. Yay. Yay, yay. But we probably won't get all of this taken care of before the rain sets in, but I think it's just going to be kind of a sprinkle type situation today. We're not looking for any soaking rains over the next couple of weeks actually, so I have no worries. I know that it will dry up and allow us to finish shaping the beds and getting them ready for the winter. But yeah, I'm gonna go over this afternoon and cut some of the stalk. And the snaps are not opened yet, and it's cooling off. So, but that won't stop the snaps. They'll still, since they're already set blooms, they'll probably continue blooming. But I'm going to get some of the stalk and some of the dara and those itty bitty calendula. I'm going to go ahead and bring those over. They'll be their own little separate thing because their little stems are so short. But I'll have a little tiny container of calendula. And yeah, I'm excited about having some beautiful springtime flowers in my windowsill in November. A little odd, but it is what it is. Some of y'all have, kind of commiserated with me about losing the fields across the road. But we've got a lot of adjusting to do with the changing of the climate. So every year is going to probably be a learning curve. And for us this year, since this is our first year growing the cool season hardy annuals, it's a really big learning curve. So I'm not going to grieve. It's just it is what it is, and we'll just enjoy the flowers that have time to finish blooming. We'll just have kind of happy flowers inside during a strange season. I have a few precious neighbors that I'll, if I have too many here to fill up one vase, I'll certainly just share them with some neighbors and friends and brighten up someone else's kind of rather dreary day. It is a dreary day. But because we so desperately need the water, it's a beautiful day to me. My personality's supposed to be melancholy, or it was years ago when I remember the personality tests in the 80s. Well, my personality test showed up that I was a melancholy, kind of like Eeyore, I think. So I don't know, I love rainy weather. I always have. When I was a kid growing up, I would sit on our front porch. We lived in town, and I would sit on our front porch, especially during a thunderstorm. I loved sitting outside and watching a thunderstorm, and I'm still kind of like that today. But overcast skies, I don't see anything bleak about them. I just think they're very calming to me. They're just of course that loud tractor is not quiet, but there's something very quiet about a cloudy day. Maybe because people aren't outside stirring around so much. I don't know. I think that that soil is beginning to look like soil to me. It doesn't look like dirt any longer. It's had something growing on it all season, or at least it's been dead for the last few months, but we didn't plow it in early. We waited until it was completely extinguished, and now when the beds are shaped, it'll have something growing on it throughout the winter. And that's the best way, from everything that I've read, that's the best way to keep your soil healthy, is to keep something growing on it all the time. You guys remember when we were growing up, those of us in our 60s and 50s and 70s and 80s, the thinking was that you were supposed to leave ground fallow to let it rest and all that sort of thing. That's actually not the science. The science is there needs to be something growing on it all the time, because if you don't keep something growing, then you're starving your microbes, and your microbes is what feeds the earthworms and this whole ecosystem. So we're just relearning everything we've ever known. But it's kind of exciting. I like learning, always have. You know, I homeschooled my children for 17 years, and I said that's really when I got my education. Started in preschool with Chelsea, and Chelsea and Jared both, they schooled at home for all the way through their 12th grade year. Aaron finished high school at Pisgah High in Canton his last 2 years. And believe it or not, the most extraordinarily interesting thing that we, you know, and he aced it, so we didn't fail as homeschoolers. He made straight A's. But the more pleasant thing was that his teachers would tell me that he was the most polite student that they had. I don't know what happened. Something happened between then and now. But no, I love him to the moon and back. As a matter of fact, he's coming over this week. It'll be good having him for a day. But and he and Corey and probably Copper. Copper usually travels with them. But anyway, those of you who are considering homeschooling, I have no regrets. I mean, it's definitely one of the hardest things that I've done in my life. And because Aaron and Jared were 8.5 years apart, took a long time to get these kids through school. We homeschooled for 17 years total. And they were well socialized. We had a big homeschooling family in Haywood County, and we had a lot of classes that we organized to do together. I always taught the art classes. We had some nurses in our homeschool group who taught science classes, and so we would just kind of work together in those ways. And we always had, you know, hikes, and we had field trips, and we went to the I can't think of what it's called, the big Star Dome down in Greenville. Planetarium, that's the word. I forget words now, guys. But it was good. It was good. I loved homeschooling. The kids didn't seem to resent it when they got older. They had plenty of friends and plenty of activities, and so no regrets. Spent lots of time with my children. But so those of you that might be considering homeschooling, check it out seriously. It's not for everyone, granted, and but I think for our family it worked well. Say hi, Pops. He's going to take care of these 2 beds for me. You ready to mow up here?
Yeah, let me mow this little dab off. You go plow.
Yeah, I'm not getting on that tractor.
You gotta learn somehow.
Not on the blue one.
And it's not that hard.
I'm not getting on the blue one.
And
I don't like the way that thing drives. It scares me. It scares me.
You ain't scared. You ain't never been scared. When I get this mowed off right here, there's a rope down there on the barrel.
Okay.
I think it'll work to pull this up. You can be pulling this up.
Okay.
And then we'll put the rotavator on. You can set in the rotavating.
Okay, doke. All right, y'all. I guess I've got my I've got my marching orders, and he's got to take care of, you know, Mother Nature. He's so funny. He forgets that a phone picks up every little tiny sound. But anyway, I love you much. I hope your day is wonderful, and I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.